Welcome to my fight show. Mika Frankl here in the Cage Mind Studios. Shout out to Talk ABQ for everything they do to help facilitate the production of this show. Shout out to Robbie Ray Images. We're going to be seeing some of the video from Robbie Ray Media. They helped us out last week with our TNA interview where we got to talk to Nick Nemeth, Ross Foreman, and Mara Sade. Following up with today, where later on we will have a video ran out, was on site today, and got to speak with the one and only TNA Heavyweight Champion, Mike Santana. Again, that video is going to come courtesy Robbie Ray Media. Huge show in store for you guys today. First guest who's going to be along here in a couple minutes. He's going to be in action UFC Fight Pass January 30th, the Fort Worth, Dallas area. Javier Cepeda going to be in action at Fury FC 114 UFC Fight Pass to watch that one. Following him up here a little bit afterwards will be James Romero. James told us about his love of the gambling predicting side when he was on the Cage Minds live that he did alongside me and Robbie Ray. So we had the idea, let's bring in James Romero, Fit NHB's own, to talk about some previews and predictions to help us talk about UFC 324, the long-awaited debut of the UFC on Paramount this Saturday. On top of those two gentlemen, we're also going to have the current BKB Welterweight champion of the world, Javon Wright. He just checked in to make sure the interview is happening tonight. He's going to be here to talk about his title defense, BKB 50. So we're going to get to that one here shortly. And also, we have Sergio Gutierrez, Fit NHB's own Sparta Combat League. He'll be in action January 30th. So we're heavy on the MMA today. We're going to be talking also with, and showing you that video earlier today, going to talk to Mike Santana, TNA Heavyweight Champion of the world, his company and himself debuting here in Albuquerque Thursday night. You can watch that one live on AMC. And Friday night, there's a taping. So you'll see that in the coming weeks on AMC. You want to be there live? We still have tickets to give away for Thursday night. Yeah, see, there's actually two of them. Don't worry. We're still giving those away. Trivia question time. One more time. No one answered it correct last week. Let us know in the comments who was the first ever TNA Heavyweight Champion. And you win, because we already answered the other half of last week's trivia question. Who is the current TNA Heavyweight Champion of the world? You guys could be there live to see one of the best pro wrestling promotions in the country. Huge, big things on the horizon for TNA. We're glad to have had these interviews the last couple weeks and be able to present them to you guys. Also, again, a shout out to Robbie Ray Images. Got a beautiful picture of Mike Santana already up quickly. Appreciate all the hard work he is putting in. Not to mention, shout out to Barber, Gabe's fades, keeping the hair tight, keeping the beard good. We get the beard product at barbergabesfades.net. You schedule your appointment. You also find your cherry beard balm from Barbers R Us on the website. Big things happening for TNA Impact. A huge show we got today. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen all the news. A huge week for me. It's just kind of been overwhelming is a word that I've used a lot. Mike Adams 2.0, about this time last week, I was finding out we're recording the last episode of that show that we had did for, ever since beginning of 2021. And that show ends with ESPN Radio Albuquerque 1017, The Team. The conversation led to the opportunity from myself to take what we're kind of doing here, what we've done on the website for years, and expand on it. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., we debut the first episode of the Cage Minds Fight Hour. We have My Fight Show. We have the Cage Minds Fight Hour now. Yes, earlier today, myself and Mr. Michael Carlisle did put out a new episode of MMA After Hours, full-blown preview of UFC 324, and also a good discussion about the recent comments from John Anik about how he would adjust the UFC should he be in charge. Tomorrow, we're going to have a conversation about the world of pro wrestling. You find that at Pro Wrestling After Hours, wherever you're finding these great podcasts. And of course, we have a lot to talk about the WWE. They have WWE Saturday Night Main Event this week, and we have the TNA debut to discuss, not to mention everything going on in the world of AEW. So much going on, so much media trying to produce for you guys in the world of combat sports and combat sports adjacent properties like the world of pro wrestling. That's my second love that we're getting further and further into. So this week, can tell you guys, be on the lookout. This Saturday, we will be having the first Cage Minds Fight Hour. First guest is already lined up, familiar to us, March 22nd. He defends his APFC welterweight title. The first guest out the gate to help me talk about UFC 324 on ESPN Radio, Albuquerque 1017. The team is going to be the gentleman, Jalen Fuller, representing Nobody's Villains. See that title defense coming up on UFC Fight Pass. So we have that to look forward to on Saturday. Not to mention, we will be live. The new start time. UFCs are now an hour earlier. That is an adjustment with the new broadcasting deal. So instead of here in our local mountain time zone, the 8 p.m. start time, it's 7. So 7 p.m., we're going to go live across the social media channels right here, how you're watching us now in studio. Robbie Ray from Robbie Ray Images, along with Ray Borg and his fiance, Mia Schmidt, all going to be here as we're watching along with that wonderful card. Who comes out with the UFC interim lightweight championship? Is it Patty Pimblett? Is it Justin Gaethje? We'll be here to watch, to share our thoughts, to have some fun, to do it with you guys this coming weekend. Looking forward to that one. We're planning to go live across the social media. And it's going to be a great opportunity for us to talk about the fighter coach relationship, how these two are as a couple, and we get to get into the plethora of fighters that Ray Borg is cornering January 30th at that Fury FC 114 card in Texas. We had Ian Varela and Andreas Quintana along last week. Previous to that, Ray Viza had broken news of his fight on that card. Be paying attention to the website because this week we do have special feature interviews. Been a while since something hasn't been on a podcast, but a couple minutes. The first interview with Hugo Gonzalez, and we also get Corey Winham. We were able to catch up with both of them at Borg MMA and Fitness. Be on the lookout for those special interviews. And also, hopefully going to get it up this week, was able to talk with one of the brightest up-and-coming collegiate traditional wrestlers we have here in the state of New Mexico, representing Dan Argueda's St. Pius team. Yes, the Valentin Papado interview will be coming out this week also. So we have a whole lot going on the website, a whole lot to get to here. If you've been to the website, you saw the massive news last week. Kayla Harrison, unfortunate neck injury has taken her out of UFC 324, a massive blow to the card where we lost the one true undisputed title fight that we were looking at getting for that card. So a massive blow to what was going to be paramount, not to make a pun here, in the women's GOAT conversation, but also something that Amanda came out of retirement for. Had been the goal for Kayla so long to get to this fight, to establish her dominance, to really add to that resume why she's the greatest combat sports female athlete of all time. Her health is obviously first and foremost, but again, just a detrimental blow to the card that we're not going to be able to see that incredible matchup. Ilia Topuria, does he come back this year? When do we get to see him come back? Those questions loom large over Paddy Pimblett, over Justin Gaethje as they get to go to battle. The storyline has been built up, and the narrative, if you've been following along, kind of feels like this is Paddy Pimblett's moment. If you believe in the building up, in the guiding of the career, in the path that was led and laid out, there have been incremental hurdles, steps up in the elevation of his opponents. There's been that growth process. And this seems like the moment that Paddy Pimblett has been waiting for, looking to get in there, to take advantage, and to take his position atop the division. Now, obviously, that story even reaches another level if he does win, because there's already been this hated rivalry between Pimblett and Topuria. And from Pimblett, he even said maybe it's just fate for this fight to happen, for us to have to get to this position where inevitably we're battling for that undisputed title. It raises a lot of intrigue and a lot of questions of how we're going to get to a real resolution for the lightweight division this year. Arman Tsarukyan left out in the dark. A lot of promotional concern about how they can do business with him. Is he too reckless? There's a lot of fanfare, luster. There's been an adoration for this build from Paddy Pimblett. He's able to sell. He's able to use his smile. He's able to have marketed to a fan base, and he has proved that that is the kind of guy you can go into business with. Justin Gaethje, you could almost feel this is the last gasp effort, because for somebody that's already won titles in other promotions, BMF, interim before, what is there left if you're not able to ultimately cash in on this moment? It's an intriguing equation where you look at the more powerful striker, Justin Gaethje. You look at the more savvy grappler, it's been Paddy Pimblett. The more experienced fighter in this equation, Justin Gaethje. What you can expect is that this matchup was made because it's probably the most assured option for fireworks that the UFC had. I do believe that they looked for a certain echelon of activity, for spectacularness. What could make a moment to make this debut that much more special as they try to resonate with this new audience? So intrigued to see what happens. UFC 324. We're not done talking about it. We're going to be talking about it much more. Any moment now, we are going to be joined by Javier Cepeda, January 30th, UFC Fight Pass, Fury FC 114. We're going to check in with Javi. We'll be back in just a minute trying to figure out where Javier Cepeda has gone. Give me just a moment, guys. We'll be right back. Sorry about that, everybody. Efforting out to Javier Cepeda. We had confirmed earlier that is the beauty of the liveness that we do. We'll see if we can get a hold of him, hoping to talk about the upcoming fight where Javier, UFC Fight Pass main card on the 30th, going to be taking on, yes, trying to catch my breath running around the studio, going to be taking on Ricky Rojas, 4-0 prospect, athleticism, aggression, a finisher, a lot to like. And it's a weird position for Javier to be in because first time we're talking about Javier as the elder statesman, as the veteran in this equation. I can't wait to talk to him. And oh, look, there he is. Let's bring him on in now. Javier Cepeda.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing tonight, sir?
Yeah, good. Just about to get ready to go to the gym and cut some weight, actually.
Do you want to tell us how much you're weighing? Like, how you feeling this far out?
Right now, I'm at 142 pounds. It's not too big, but I have a lot of energy. I'm really, my stomach's full. I'm really hydrated. So, I mean, I could cut probably 5 pounds right now if I needed to, easily.
Energized, hyper, and also active now. It seems like it took a while for you to kind of get on this roll again to be active in the fight game. What has that meant to you now to kind of get back in a groove?
Um, Time. I notice I'm getting a little bit older. I'm already in my 30s, so I'm like, shit, like I got to do it now. So I'm trying to be as active as I can possible. So yeah, just age just woke me up, I guess.
Age woke you up. Was there a specific moment or anything where you said, "Hey, this is kind of passing me by, and this is my dream"?
My 30th birthday, yeah. I was like, fuck, I need to get on the roll. I think I only had like 5 pro fights when I was 30, something like that.
And now, since you've been able to hit that acceleration, what feels different about this time around now that you're kind of reinvigorated?
Shoot, just experience this time around. Just I feel like I've been in there so much, so often, and like I just feel like I'm ready, and everything's going by so quick. Like I feel like I'm learning a lot quicker now that I'm so active. Like I'm always training, always in the gym, fighting constantly. Everything's just accelerated.
Not to mention things being different. You've basically, as long as I've known you, there's been this, are you living in Albuquerque? Are you living in Roswell? Right now you're living in Roswell. Why has that felt like it's been the best decision for you?
Financially, it's the best decision for me. And I believe, I don't know. I have a really good team here in Roswell at the Bully Boxing Gym, and when I do have fights, which is like every 3 4 months at least, I'm up in Albuquerque training on my days off, like Wednesday, Thursdays, and I just I'm here financially and training wise. There's a good gym here. There's some jiu-jitsu gyms here. The boxing gym's great, and then I just mix it all up there in Albuquerque.
That's also part of the dedication because
Yes.
now you're up here a couple times a week, but you're making that 3-hour drive on top of what you're doing. And just from observing you from afar, it feels like some of this has been beneficial, helping you focus in, almost making you prove how bad you want this.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I make it up every week, and I'm training here like all week. We don't take any days off, and then I go up there, and then I'm still training, and then the traveling. It's a lot of dedication. It's difficult, but at the end of the day, it's all worth it. I mean, I have so much time in this game that I gotta just dedicate my whole life to it. I literally go to work, come home, sleep, go to the gym, and that's all I do.
Started out on the MMA side on a roll, 3-0. You mixed it up with boxing that didn't go in your way. You've gotten back now to MMA, winner of 3 of the last 4 fights. What do you attribute the success now to? Is it the training, the mindset, the experience? Like, from you, what do you feel has led to success?
All of it, mindset, training, everything's been leading up to success. I believe just just believing in myself and in my team and my coaches, everything's just leading up to success. I mean, my last loss, uh, I believe it was a fluke. I mean, it was literally like 35-degree weather outside, and it was cold as hell, and I just got caught early, and there's no way that could have happened in, normal temperature weather. I mean, come on, let's be real.
How do you utilize that experience from what was such a unique experience? Who fights outdoors in October? I'll repeat that again. Who fights outdoors in October? I guys, I am not brave enough to go to that event to brave that cold. They've done it 2 years in a row. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Shit, that was difficult. I mean, I was like, football players in the NFL, they go out and play it in the cold, but like they go back to their sidelines and cuddle up in the jackets with the heaters right there next to them. I mean, like, damn, that's tough, but like they have heaters on the sidelines. I didn't have no heaters. I walked out instantly, cold as hell, made the walk 5-10 minutes in, and my opponent barely starts walking out, so I'm like frozen 10 minutes already. And these football players, they go out, play for like 10 seconds and run back to the sidelines real quick. So I mean, like, it's kind of hard. Like, that fight was difficult. It was like, I don't know, it was something else.
Did you see on the sideline for the Bears Rams game this past weekend? There was hot chocolate and chicken broth.
I
That's the
didn't.
electric lights you need, the chicken broth.
Yep. Yeah, that was crazy though.
So it's a unique experience. It's one of a kind. It's freezing out there. You still manage in the worst of conditions, though, to have a successful performance against John Calderon. It's freezing. What does that say to you when you're able to get a victory like that?
Um, just gotta tough it out. Just gotta be a thug and thug it out.
Now, how do you approach this new situation? Return to Fury FC. You've been there before, and I can't believe we're like at this place. We talked about you in your 30s now, but heading into your 10th fight against a 4-0 prospect, they're like, this is prospect versus veteran. And I can't think of you as a veteran.
Right. Me neither.
How do you approach then this fight with that situation where now it's the opposite foot? You're looking at the young guy with all the hype, and it's your job to derail that momentum.
Uh, you know, uh, I have a lot of experience, so I'm just gonna go out there, put it on him. I know he's gonna be aggressive. He's gonna try to take my head off. He's gonna try to wrestle me down. The game plan's identical with everybody I fight. Like, they go in there, try to get my hands up, shoot for my legs, and take me down. But we're well prepared for that. I mean, my last opponent, John, he was a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and same goes for Ricky. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but Ricky's a lot smaller. I was up at 135 pounds fighting the brown belt, and Ricky's a 125 pounder. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not scared. It's not jiu-jitsu, it's MMA. So he's going to have to deal with punches, kicks, elbows, knees, everything, and wrestling on top of his brown belt.
At this point, some would say he's the younger, more athletic fighter. Do you see this being the same old guy? Is he trying to take you down, or do you see this as being somebody who's possibly going to try to play it out on the feet, and we may need to see your veteran tricks of the trade kind of come into play to nullify just those athletic attributes?
100% he's going to try to take me down. Guaranteed. We're going to fill each other out for the first 30 seconds. He's going to, or less, he's going to try to shoot right away instantly. But, I mean, I guess I'll use my veteran status and showcase my defensive grappling skills. I'll keep it standing and then just we'll see. Just outpoint him. I'm probably just gonna just outpoint the guy and drag him out into deep waters.
We've brought it up, and I've almost forced the word into your mouth, a veteran now of where you are in this scenario. But do you feel that veteranship like in sparring now, when you're in the gym, when you're seeing these situations in sparring? Do you kind of feel a veteranness, almost a familiarity with what you're doing?
Somewhat. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess I've been in the game for so long. I guess I could consider myself a veteran, but I still feel like the student of the game. Like I'm learning. I still have lots of stuff to learn. I'm a white belt in jiu-jitsu, and uh, my teammate Ian, he calls me Sensei Javi. I'm like, I'm not really a sensei or nothing, but I understand where he's coming from with that.
You were all knowing compared to Ian.
Ian's a cool guy.
But I can understand where he would look at you as the sensei. But I love the mentality that you have, that you're a white belt. You never want to act like your cup is full. So I love that mentality.
Yeah. It's true. It's all true.
What has it been like now also? Because I know he's always been there for you. Whenever you've needed him, he'll pick up the phone. But your brother looks to have also a different enthusiasm about the game once again.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see him get back into the game. He was supposed to fight with me on the card in El Paso for CFC, but I don't know what happened exactly. I guess his opponent pulled out. So he's been in shape since before October, like around September. He started training for the camp, or August maybe, I don't know. But he's been in shape for at least half a year, solid. And yeah, it's exciting to see him back into the game. He's a little bit older too, but I mean, like, man, he's strong as hell. There's no way. I don't see no one beating him in Fury.
A moment ago, or a few minutes ago, you also had said confidence. That was something that's kind of taken to another level, or you've gotten more of as you've progressed. You had a stellar amateur run. We know about the amateur boxing. How do you now then have to reinforce your confidence? Like, I don't think many people would understand that, because the Javi a lot of us saw for a long time had tons of confidence.
Still does. What do you mean has or had? I mean, I have confidence is key. Every fight I go into is I'm going to win. And I mean, I fell short a couple times. Uh, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like I should still be undefeated right now.
Well, you were the one that had said, confidence was something that had taken to another level or had been key.
Yeah.
That's why I was wondering where or how that confidence was different from how it had been, or if there had to be a reassertion of it. You had brought up the word. I was just trying to dig into it.
My bad. Yeah. I just every time I fight, it just always my confidence is higher and higher, and I know this guy is 4-0, 4 knockouts, I believe. It doesn't scare me. I have confidence I'll win no matter what.
Not scared, so to say, but is there almost like a healthy amount of is it fear, or is it just more adrenaline when you go into battle, because you love doing it, but there are so many unknowns?
Right? Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns, but it I would say it's a lot more adrenaline going into the fight over fear, because I'm not scared of stepping in there at all. It gives me a rush to step in there, and like the unknowns are like okay, what if this happens, what if that happens, and that's when my heart starts pumping up and getting excited, ready for the fight, and showcase my skill set.
Talking about that confidence word though, one more time, do you almost feel that that's something you need to take away from Ricky to start to be successful? Because at 4-0, at brash and confident, we know how you were at 3-0.
Right.
You are full head on, that nothing can take you down. Do you have to chip away at his confidence to be successful?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm gonna have to go ahead and again show my veteran status on the game with him in the cage. I'm gonna have to break him down, show him my skill set, and I'm not a pushover fighter or nothing. I'm gonna show him, break down his confidence, and just take away his ego and everything. I know he's coming into this fight. He thinks he's gonna steamroll me. I know he thinks that, and he's gonna just try to take me down and just submit me in his head, I bet you he thinks he's going to end the fight in the first round, which is not going to happen. It might happen, but on my end, I might knock him out within the first 2 rounds or so. I want to go to the third round with him and see what he has, see how his confidence is in the third round with me.
Why are you the one to hand him his first loss?
I'm a veteran.
Oh, see, now we got you to say you're a veteran. All right.
Yeah.
What does it feel like, the gym, the atmosphere when you get up here? It looks like half the team is going to be in action on the same night.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, that's going to be awesome. All of us are going to be in action. We're going to be, I don't know how the order is going to go, but I hope whoever starts it off sets out a good pace, like a good knockout or a submission, first round knockout. If not, it's okay. I mean, things happen in the cage, but yeah, it's exciting to fight with the whole team on the card, basically.
You've been in that situation before where there's several team members fighting on one card. Is that momentum something that you can kind of feel backstage?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you could. I'm sure there's gonna be like TVs in the back room where we could watch our teammates fight or the fights coming up, whatever. And yeah, it's a huge momentum. It doesn't matter if it's a win, loss, or whatever. I mean, like the whole team's there, the vibes are there, everything's great. I mean, it's just like we're at practice, but we're competing against other people instead of each other.
And Javi doesn't have just this nifty setup so he can do Zoom interviews with us guys. What have you been playing lately?
Um, Actually, I've been playing like older games. Like I started Fallout 3 recently, and it just keeps crashing on me, so it's frustrating. So um, I started up with the Far Cry series, and that's pretty fun. I never played any of the Far Cry games.
See, I don't know if you guys knew, Javier, Andres, both big gamers. Do you remember where that love like rooted from? What started it?
Yeah, my dad, Eddie Velez, he got us a gaming system, and I believe it was a Sega. I think it was a Sega Genesis, and that's where it all started. My brother Andres, he was the hog of the Sega Genesis. He always played it. He was always on it. And then to quiet me up, he'd plug in my controller, not plug it in, but he'd put it right there, like under the system, and pretend I was playing with him. I'd be all, I don't know, playing the Sega Genesis with him, but not really. I just had the controller in my hands, and it wasn't plugged in.
We all did that to the younger kids. I hope my nephews aren't watching and learning any new secrets right now that they were surprised about. Or you
Yeah.
take the batteries out from the Xbox controller and you kind of flip them around.
Yeah.
I'd have to say, I think it was Sonic 2. You know how back in the day you'd buy the Sega and you'd get the free game with it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic 2, I think, is the one that I got as a kid.
Oh wow, nice. I don't even know what I was playing. I think it was Mortal Kombat.
Nice, nice. One of the classics. So we'll leave on that one. Mortal Kombat. Who's your character?
uh oh man, this is gonna be terrible, but the one that looks like Scorpion but blue. What's his name?
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. Yes, there you go. That's my guy.
Of course, the guy that's stone cold, Javier
Yeah.
Cepeda over here, is a Sub-Zero guy. Do you have the leather jacket? Is it always with you when you leave for fight week?
It's shoot. It's right here next to me actually.
When did that love actually? I can't let you go after the Mortal Kombat question. When did this love of Stone Cold happen? I didn't know that you had this love until I saw you walk out with the vest one day.
Really? Wow. Man, I've always been a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan since ever since I was little. I was like in diapers still watching him and clashing beers together. And I actually got Goldberg mixed up with Stone Cold, and I wanted to watch Stone Cold. And then my dad, he was like, "Hey, look who's on TV!" And then it was Goldberg. I was like, I don't like, or I thought it was Stone Cold, but like in my mind, I don't know. I was always mixing them up.
Dude, love pro wrestling. We love MMA, and we are so excited January 30th to see you on UFC Fight Pass at Fury FC 114.
Yes, sir.
You have a good night.
You too.
Javier Cepeda. We thank him from the time. It was great getting a chat with him. We'll dive into that pro wrestling fandom a little bit more another time. It was great getting to talk with him tonight. The whole Borg MMA and fitness team is going to be in full effect and represented January 30th in Dallas, Texas, UFC Fight Pass, Fury FC 114. Checking the time, we got about 10 minutes until James Romero joins us, and we'll be talking a little bit more UFC 314 or 324, excuse me, not 314. That was a while ago. 324. And he's going to give us his best bets and predictions coming from the fighter. Last weekend, as we're getting ready for the first UFC event of the year, last weekend, we had the first BKFC event of the year. Wasn't on the BKFC app. This one was a DAZN special. It lived up to the hype. If it felt familiar, well, it kind of was, because it was back-to-back events for BKFC at the Mohegan Sun Arena there in Unisville, Connecticut. But what went down inside of that ring was anything but routine or ordinary. It was extraordinary, like you always get with the blood and guts of a title on the line with BKFC. Dustin Page edges out Julian Lane in an all-out war to capture the BKFC Welterweight Championship. We have a full article up at cageminds.com. The decision in the sudden death overtime round. 5 rounds, not enough to settle it. Page with the beautiful overhand hook left, knocked down, catching Lane, backing up with his chin in the air in the first round. Not sure how Let Me Bang was able to survive, but he did. He turned up the aggression, and in the latter stages of the second round started to fight back to where the judges see him taking that third, fourth, and fifth round. I could have seen this one ending on the scorecards and a new champion being crowned inside of the distance. That didn't happen, and the momentum continued on for Lane in that overtime round. But in the moment that stole the show, a crushing right hook rolls the eyes back. Page has his moment, and if we have a couple more seconds on the clock, Page might have been able to stop Lane, who has some almost like Wolverine-esque recuperative powers to be normal by the time the scorecards are getting read, to be disappointed, to fully be aware of what happened. But the two most crucial, biggest shots of the fight came from Page, even though you saw the lacerating blows, the new diagonal cut over the right eye of Page that will always have him remembering this night, and probably a jaw that has to be wired shut. He fights through all that to win the decision and take the belt. But unfortunately, with that broken jaw, it could be a while before we see Page, and I wonder if a interim or new champion is just outright crowned because of how long he could be sidelined. Co-main event, the former boxing world champion 2 times, Jamel Herrig, looked completely at home in his BKFC debut. Maybe it took him around to wipe his feet off on the doormat, but once he stepped in and sat down on the sofa, he looked right at home, calmly outclassing Matt Gaiman. Gaiman, getting shut down with his awkward entries, dramatic movements, was attempting to do what he could to disguise and distract Herrig so that he was able to get on the inside, but it was to no avail as the sharper, faster fighter looked to be more composed, getting it done. A flawless transition to taking off the gloves. The Joy Boy, yes, the current BKFC champion, for Christmas said he wants Mr. Herrig, and I think that's where we're going. The dramatic one-side victory will now propel into title contention. Justin Ibarola has definitely earned with winning the title in the fashion that he did over Ryan Reber to get a big time fight like Jamel Herrig. But I don't know if you can be ready. This is a different game, but Herring did the second best job since Austin Trout of turning bare knuckle fighting into a pugilistic looking effort. He made this not just a raw aggression, damaging sport, but he was able to show the finesse. He was able to show the technique. He was able to show defensive responsibility. All staggeringly impressive for a debut where a lot of fighters and a lot of boxers have been caught off guard the first time they're stuck in this smaller battleground, the first time they are hit with a bare knuckle. Not him. Kudos to the former two-time boxing world champion who looks to now be establishing himself as a real threat here in the BKFC. Rico DeSulo stays perfect. We also had the same for Gumere Viana, both now 3-0 and doing it in spectacular fashion, whether it's a devastating jab as it was from Viana, the Brazilian, one of the many Brazilians now calling Connecticut home, absolutely devastating, or it's DeSulo picking apart Ashton Caniglia. Both of those spoke volumes, just like Raz Hilton rallying from the knockdown, getting back up to stop Branko Bushwick, and Trey Martin stealing the show, bleeding everywhere to gut out a split decision win in what was a nasty gash. BKFC 86 delivered exactly what bare knuckle fans expect. Blood, grit, and moments that decide careers. Moments that take this to the next echelon. Full results, full article up at cageminds.com. February 7th, we will have BKFC Knuckle Mania 6 watch along here live in studio. Robbie Ray images and St. Nick Gonzalez, who has been in the corner for several huge BKFC fights. They will both be here in studio this weekend. Robbie Ray, Ray Borg, Mia Schmidt, they will all be here for our UFC 324 watch along. And we keep that beard looking good thanks to Barbers R Us and their amazing beard balm. You find that over at barbergabesfades.net, where you book your appointments today to get in, to get your haircut, to get your look looking straight, looking right, looking tight as we head towards Valentine's Day. And if you don't have that loved one, you're trying to impress, and maybe you're trying to do a little bit something to impress them, that new look, those highlights, get on over to Barber Gabe's Fade right here, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 100 Coors Northwest. It's the northeast corner of the Coors and Central intersection. The hook you guys up. Robbie Ray Images, Robbie Ray Media, for all the help they've been doing, putting stuff together. Guys, the last week has been a whirlwind. Cage Minds Fight Hour debuting on ESPN Radio Albuquerque, 1017 The Team this coming Saturday. The same slot where Mike Adams 2.0 used to be. Overwhelmed with the opportunity that Joe O'Neill is giving me, and got to take a moment to show appreciation. This would not be possible without the support of the fans. This would not have been possible without the support truly from Talk ABQ to Michael Carlisle, Robbie Ray Images, Sal Mora, Mike Adams, who both gave me opportunities a long time ago. Jorge Hernandez bringing me on Combat Sports Weekly. My mom, my sister, my lovely wife, Nicole, without the support of all of you guys, and really, truly excited to see how this next avenue for Cage Minds goes, as we have a now deeper relationship going on with ESPN Radio Albuquerque, 1017 The Team. Looks like he's a couple minutes delayed on his way home still, but here in a couple minutes, we will have James Romero, joining us to talk about UFC 324, the bets and predictions that he's liking. Was talking about BKFC. Again, the full recap for that BKFC 86 is up at cageminds.com. On that broadcast, they did have breaking news. BKFC, as it already has taken over some of the Bellator contracts, as we're seeing at Mohegan Sun. Another one, Bellator heading to Honolulu, Hawaii. Last time I could think of a major combat sports event in Hawaii was Bellator. Well, Honolulu, Hawaii, April 11th, you do get some BKFC. BKFC today on the Bare Knuckles Show. Shout out to Brian Sosha, who I had to call to tell him about my fight show and also about the Cage Minds Fight Hour. Today, they also broke news of something that we had seen locally coming back and having a slightly different look about it. Yeah, pulling up the notes because this one is not where it was supposed to be. BKFC New Blood Gloved Edition will be replacing what was the BKFC Amateur Prospect Series. We had seen a couple of those sort of bouts happen here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. People wondering what amateur BKFC is, amateur bare knuckle. We're talking about 4 to 6 ounce gloves. We're talking about your popcorn MMA sparring gloves or your traditional MMA gloves, depending on the commission, being worn in the boxing BKFC environment and establishing yourself with amateur experience for this sport. There had been an idea. There had been the BKFC Amateur Prospect Series, as I mentioned, that had a couple events, but it now looks like to be rebranded. And on top of that, where I said it was the New Blood Gloved Edition is because it also looks like there will be a BKFC New Blood series also coming about. David Feldman recently talking the $25 million tournament. We had heard about that at the first BKFC Fighter Summit, and then you haven't heard a lot about that topic since. Well, they are making a move with it, and looks like we're going to be seeing forward progression in that direction, details, matchups, all of that good stuff coming your way. BKFC making big moves, making interesting moves. Another one on the interesting news alarm. The most talked about heavyweight prospect that I can remember, Gabe Stevenson has booked his third MMA fight. He'll be taking on the Budo Santo heavyweight champion, Hugo Lazama at Mexico Fight League 3, February 19th. Stevenson about to have his fourth professional fight, third in MMA. Keeping you guys updated on that one. We are any moment, as soon as he gives me a thumbs up and he's ready, we'll have James Romero jump on in here. He's just getting the lighting right, it looks like, guys. Just getting the lighting right. James Romero coming in because we got to hear what he thinks about UFC 324.
What's going on, guys? Sorry if my voice is a little quieter. I'm a little sick today, but still have to make it.
I appreciate you jumping on. Told you when you did the watch along that I was going to force you to come out here, do this year, make the hard picks, everything. Already just from what you do from the gambling perspective, was this a card that was intriguing you, or what were your thoughts just looking
Oh,
at
yeah,
it?
it's a huge card. Well, it's huge for a lot of reasons. We've had a big break from UFC, and then the second off, the big reason, my boy Ty Miller is the first fight on the card. I mean, how could you? The way to bring UFC back to the Paramount era, everyone gets to watch Ty Miller in the early prelims, first fight.
Fit NHB's own Baby Tim Means is what I describe how he fights, like that same vicious jab combinations and teep kicks. You said it right away. The first fight on the card is going to have you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, it's a great card, too. First pay-per-view back. Let me see if I could. If I close the screen, will it stay on? So I could check the.
Do you need me to just run down the fight card for you so we don't lose you?
Yeah. If you could bring up the odds for each fight too, just go on like DraftKings, and we'll go from bottom to top, early prelims to main event.
Okay, yeah, we will. Well, and obviously, you are. It goes without saying, we're not going to have James predict the Ty Miller fight because that's kind of obvious which way you're leaning, right? You're going with the teammate, buddy, huh?
Pretty obvious.
Pretty obvious. So
I
we
think
can
it's a good fight for him. I'm excited for him.
Adam Fugit is just the type of guy I could see he's going to want to try to get on the inside, get close, and try to see if he can take Ty down.
Yeah, well, I've been Adam Fugit in camp, so been fighting southpaws, throwing those long body kicks. So, yeah, Ty's gonna put in a good showing. I'm excited for him.
We have a couple veterans on the card. It's Ricky Tercios versus Cameron Smotherman, and I believe that you're pretty uniformly seeing Smotherman about minus 190, where you got a plus 160 on Tercios, who's been an Ultimate Fighter winner, but that's kind of been the highlight so far of his UFC run.
He's also fought some tough dudes too. Surprisingly, I think I like Tercios as the dog here. He just sometimes I hate betting on Tercios because he just doesn't throw enough volume and fights at way too much distance. But I mean, he looked good against Raul Rosas for a little bit, and then he ended up getting choked out. And the worst fight he fought, though, ended up not being not a bad loss, was against Amin Zahibi. That one was like, at the time, it was like, what the heck? He lost to this guy? But Zahibi's actually pretty dang good.
Almost wild to a detriment is what I feel like Tercios can be, though.
Yeah, that's definitely. But, I mean, that's his shtick. That's his personality, too. He's funny on the mic. He seems like a real dude. I like a small dog shot. It's not my favorite spot on the card or nothing, but I like Tercios as a small dog here.
We got the heavyweights with Josh Hokett, Denzel Freeman. Both are LFA vets. Both have a wrestling background. Hokett minus 238, plus 195 on the Freeman side.
It's a good fight. I think it's priced about right. Hokett should take it. It's hard laying that much juice on someone unproven right now, but gun to my head pick, I think Hokett handles this one. I don't know. I think he'll struggle getting takedowns a little bit, but I think he can take him deep waters and get his hands going a little bit.
There just wasn't enough volume and emphasis on damage for me from Freeman.
Yeah, I can't trust Freeman as a dog either. No way.
I'm going to kind of be disappointed if Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez gets all the way to a decision. Both guys have huge power. We got Hernandez minus 155, plus 130 on Johnson. Both are explosive, so this could go either way.
Yeah, I think this is a great spot for Hernandez. I mean, Michael Johnson's good at pulling off upsets, but at this point in his career, Hernandez is trending up, he's trending down. I think this is a really good spot for Hernandez. I like laying at minus 155 for Hernandez for sure.
Charles Johnson will remind us all week. He has a win over Joshua Van. He's taking on Alexander Perez, and he's a minus 185 favorite to the 154 on the plus side for Alex.
This is such a tough fight. Perez has fought the killers of all killers, and his last fight, he looked great against Asu Amabayev. I feel like Perez is going to be dominating, and Charles Johnson's going to pull something out of his ass in the third round and win. Perez I don't know. There's some guys who just find ways to win. He's one of the highest level dudes in the sport, and he just finds a way to lose somehow.
I feel like I should already know this. Didn't Perez tap to the guillotine from Alibayev? Didn't Alibayev jump on top of his neck? That's where it's like, Perez is great and then has these moments where he trips over something in the octagon.
He's a banana peel every time for Perez. Remember he was beating up Tatsuro Taira, and then Taira got his back, and then his knee popped weird too from that fence little transition thing.
Oh, and Taira had the leg kind of wrapped.
Yeah, the leg laced and pushed off the cage. I mean, it was great to get him to the ground, but I don't think he was trying to tear his knee with that. I think that was just very unlucky for Perez.
I just think that was a nasty position to be in and to try the body in two different directions.
Tyra's a dog.
Modestas Bukauskas, Nikita Krylov. You got the momentum all on Bukauskas' side, and he's a minus 148 to Krylov's plus 124. But I feel like, at least for me, this is pretty easy. Bukauskas has had more momentum and has added more skills recently.
That is true, and it looks like Krylov's been on a downfall. I mean, it's looking at me like the Green Goblin mask. Nikita Krylov is a dog again, but he sometimes leaves his chin up in the air to get caught by those big boys. This one's not my favorite spot, but I'll probably take a small dog shot on Krylov just to see what happens. Nothing big on it, but
Atiba Gutierrez, one of the talks of your division, the middleweight division. This guy looks like an absolute monster.
dude's a specimen.
Dude is like minus 900s in some places. He's down to minus 650 in others. I don't feel good for Andrea Pudileva at this point from what I've seen between the two of them.
Yeah, I think it's another. They're feeding him to put some more highlight KOs, and I won't bet him minus 650 favorite ever because anything can happen. But he's probably gonna look minus 900 to minus 650 or wherever the range is. He's gonna get it done. I think this is a really good matchup for him.
If you're not betting at minus 650, do we even bring up Umar Nurmagomedov, who can be fined as big as minus 1800 in some places?
That's a stupid line. In MMA, that line doesn't even make sense sometimes. I guess, especially against a former champ. I think Umar's gonna beat him, like for sure, but there's no way you bet minus 1650 in a sport. That's insane.
And I almost want to say there's no way you make that line of minus 1650 in this sport, disrespecting Figueiredo. But all that, I'm not even betting on Figueiredo if you give me money.
I'll probably put $10 on him for fun, just to cheer for the fight. But because it's plus 850 probably right now.
Depending on where you go, and yeah, as we were talking about DraftKings, exactly.
Plus 850, yeah. I would just. That's a fight just to stay away from, honestly. Don't throw Umar in your parlays. It doesn't even boost it. It doesn't help your parlays, and anything could happen in an MMA fight. Just watch it and wait for the next one on that one. Just enjoy the fight without betting that one.
Gene Silva has been talk of the town. He has been a hot date for a lot of people. His outrageously wildness and berserkerness is adorned. I was there at International Fight Week where fans were just going crazy for the guy. Could Arnold Allen, though, be a parlay piece for a guy that's pretty deep in the minus 200s, and he might just be the more technical striker and more technical thinker everywhere we go in this matchup?
I like Allen here a lot, honestly. Allen as a plus 200 dog. I mean, he looked great against Holloway. It was 2-2 going into the fifth, wasn't it?
He had his moments in that fight. I think one card might have had it that close, and I think there was another one that had it a wash for Holloway. But he did earn a lot of respect in that fight.
Yeah, and I think Holloway's levels above Gene Silva. I mean, Gene Silva's good, powerful hits. He's freaking looks like a walking pharmacy from Brazil. But he's good. Arnold Allen I think is better here, and he's kind of got that dog in him too, where he could eat some big shots where he's not going to go out early.
Rose Namajunas, Natalie Silva minus 410, 320 on Rose Namajunas. Rose has the veteran experience, but for everything that brings, Silva feels like she has the momentum and is on the uphill climb right now.
I feel like this is priced right. I think Silva's gonna win 2-3 rounds easy with her volume, especially it's only a 3-rounder. She throws at so much volume. I think a 5-rounder could hurt her. I mean, in the future, but I mean, it hasn't. But I think she handles Rose here. I hate betting big favorites like that. I don't know what I'll do with that, but I think that's priced right. I think she's gonna handle Rose here.
Waldo Cortez Acosta, Derek Lewis. I think I'm just going the under. That's probably going to be way in huge minus money.
It's probably over at under half a round at minus money juiced.
Oh, you got to figure right now when you just look at the straight lines for these two, we got Lewis over here he is a plus 260 underdog, which is really tempting. And Cortez Acosta minus 325. Both guys can hit home runs, but both guys can also kind of stare in the mirror trying to set up that knockout shot.
I almost always bet in the Black Beast as a dog, but this time I don't think he gets it done here. I think Cortez is getting better and better and better. He didn't even impress me much in his first fight in the UFC, but I think he's getting so much better as a fighter. I think he's gonna beat up Derek Lewis here, but it's gonna set us up for another good Derek Lewis price in the future against someone.
Sean O'Malley, Song Yadong is our co-main event, minus 205 for O'Malley, plus 170 for Song. The experience, the ability to manage fights. I like this as a matchup for O'Malley to rebound.
I agree. I think it's a perfect fight for him to rebound. Song's good and tough, but I think O'Malley's just a little better everywhere and faster and more technical. I'm not even the biggest Sean fan, and I think he gets it done handily here.
In just a minute, guys, we're going to be joined by BKB welterweight champion Javon Wright, January 31st. He's defending his welterweight title. Talking about the main event, though, first, interim lightweight title. Justin Gaethje, been there, done that, had this belt before, a WSOF one, a BMF one. The man has put together so many highlights, and he's a plus 190 underdog to the minus 230. Paddy Pimblett, who I said it earlier today on MMA After Hours, we might see this guy get to the title belt without ever beating anyone under the age of 35 in the UFC.
He has the most padded, gifted layup fights in the UFC, Paddy. I think this line's wrong. I think he could win. I think it should be a coin flip fight. The odds should be even. I'm going to bet Gaethje for sure at those odds. That's just insanity to me. Gaethje's grappling hasn't proved to be good, but I mean, who has Paddy beat? He was going to war. Ferguson was landing on him in the third round not too long ago. He hasn't beat anyone coming off a win. He lost to Jared Gordon. Now, I bet on Paddy that fight, and he lost that fight. Somehow got a split decision. He's getting better and he's good, but if it stays on the feet for any amount of time, he gets hit way too much. Gaethje will piece him up.
That vulnerability, the lack of his defense, you wonder, is it time that his chin finally gets cracked in a way that it can't recover from? Those leg kicks that Gaethje possesses are nasty. I just kind of believe in the story, and the story right now feels like Paddy Pimblett is the guy that they're making into the next big thing.
That is true, but at the end of the day, it's two guys stepping in there. I think Gaethje should handle this one. I think it's the most winnable fight for Paddy in the top 5, but I still think Gaethje's just got to defend a couple takedowns, because if it stays on the feet, it's not going to be pretty for Paddy at all.
Guys, we're going to write down these predictions. We're going to ask James how his bets go next week. Because next week, we got to bring him back. UFC 325, just a week later. If you're available for a few minutes next week, love to do this again.
Sweet, yeah, no, I'm down. I'm down to this every week.
Cool. We'll talk to you next week. We'll see how this past week went.
James, I don't see if I gave good advice or not. We'll see.
You feel better, my man.
Right on. Have a good one, Mike.
You have a good night.
Later.
James Romero, Fit NHB, an up-and-coming middleweight, giving us his outlook on the bets and picks for UFC 324. I said he was going to be along, and here he is. We have BKB royalty. The champ is here. We bring in the Wolfman right now.
How you doing, man? How you doing?
How you doing, sir? Javon Wright, how you doing tonight?
I'm all right, and yourself?
I'm doing well. It's good to hear from you again. Good to see you again. And man, BKB picking up some steam, some momentum now on Vice TV. Have you had the opportunity yet to rub elbows with all these new VPs the company's been hiring?
Not all of them, maybe one or two, so I'll probably get a chance to rub elbows with them once we get to Miami. So we'll see.
From the perspective that you're in, from this position, from being a champion, from seeing all these announcements, what is your kind of take on it, and what's the excitement that it gives you?
I really can't explain it, you know what I'm saying? I just love to get the chance to perform in front of the crowd, in front of the millions of fans on TV. So I'm just happy to be there to perform for everybody,
I thought it was really interesting from a company that had a strong year last year and really started to make the name bigger, that notoriety. The Vice TV deal, I think, took it to another level, and really seeing all the additions. We got an Alberto Blast, and then you even see like the infrastructure ones. It's been amazing to really see this company put forth an effort to take it to another level.
Yeah, it really has. So I mean, everybody's starting to take off. We all starting getting our piece of the stardom. We getting our names out there. So it's really a chance for everybody that's that's been grinding so hard to get their names out there even more. So it's actually great. So
we saw you here last year, about this time last year,
right,
win a title, and then the dream becomes a reality. Now you're really focusing in on being a bare knuckle fighter. What did that look like in the months after getting the title belt?
Just pretty much, right back to work, right back to getting ready for the next fight. Because I believe I fought like 3 or 4 months right after that. So I mean, right after the fight, I was pretty much ready to go right again. So I mean, it was right back to work for me. So I didn't really take it. I didn't really, because I didn't really get a chance to go home to celebrate with the family and stuff. So now I'm actually here in St. Louis. So I actually had a chance to talk with a few people, celebrate, take pictures and stuff. But when I went back to Long Beach, I just went back to training. I just went right back to it.
That first night, do you sleep with the belt? Does it go across? Did it just, was it right there with you?
No, it definitely was. It's definitely right there. It's set between me and my girl. So she was like, "You have to move it because it's kind of pointy and it's sharp." I was like, scoot over.
What now led to the story, and where does the story pick up where you now transition back home? St. Louis, we had talked about the advantages of moving out to California, being able to expand the training a little bit, get some bodies. What led to you returning to the comforts of home?
Well, getting ready for this fight, coming home, I had a lot more, sparring partners and different gyms I can bounce around to go to that I was already familiar with. And then I can bring in people that I was already familiar with working with that also doing bare knuckle boxing. So it actually helped me out a little bit. So, my, one of my fellow teammates, Terrell, he just fought on the last one, the Biloxia, Mississippi card, Terrell Ursary, he fought on that one. That's one of my good guys. We've been training together too down here. So I'm down here familiar with the guys that I'm training with now. So it works good for me.
We talked about that a couple months after you win the title, you jump right back into the ring. You go for another title. Like, you start this bare knuckle thing and you win a world title, and is it almost dumbfounding to be like, "Hey, do you want to become a 2-division champion?"
Yeah, I mean, when they asked me, that's like, "You want to go up in weight class?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, why not? Let's see if I can make history, become a living legend." It didn't work out for me, as you saw. I got TKO'd in the second round, but I mean, you never know. Maybe I'll go up to 154 again and try again one day. But right now we're just gonna worry about going back down to 47 and defending my title first. So.
What do you feel, though, was the most useful lesson that was learned at 54 at that attempt to go up and make that history?
That they definitely hit a lot harder than we do at 47 for sure.
What does that do then? And now what are your focuses have been on in training, and how do you become this ultimate bare knuckle monster that you want to be?
It's been a lot. What can I say? A lot of hand fighting, pretty much, because that last fight I literally got caught with my hands down, like up to the whole. You hear me, from the start of the fight up until when I got caught, I was pretty much winning the fight, and I just got overzealous and I dropped my hands. So it's been a lot of hand fighting in this camp. Keeping them hands up, steady moving. Keeping them hands up, steady moving their head, and whatever you do, just keep that hand up.
Does it feel like now, having had the couple experiences, that this is what you thought it was going to be? You thought that this was going to be the sport for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. We grew up doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this basically just going back to fighting on the streets. We just getting paid for it now.
And what is it about that bare knuckle, this atmosphere, not just that comfortability and familiarity, but what is it about this environment that is made for you?
It's just the pureness of the sport, It's just basically 2-man. You hear me? Bare knuckles, no gloves. It's either I hit harder than you or you hit harder than me, and at the end of the day, we both gonna be bleeding. At the end of the day, I love it.
And it's not a whole many of the experiences, but you've at least had 3 of them. Or 4 of them, excuse me. Does it get more comfortable being in that triangle when you're in this close environment? Because the first fight, I almost feel like it goes out the window. It's such a new experience, but once you start to get acclimated to it, now that you've really had those other 4 fights, do you start to get comfortable with the dimensions, the battleground, how close your opponent is to you at all times?
Yes, you do, and then you also get used to the punches. After a while, it's to the point where like I barely even feel the punches anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes it don't even be the punches hurt. It's just like you just get caught with a good one. You like it didn't hurt. You just caught me real good. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I mean everything about the sport you can definitely take from it. Like as far as like from my first fight, with Duran, it was pretty much me fighting on pure instinct, just going in there, just trying to survive and trying to win the fight. And then from this fight, I've slowly been taking it. You hear me one time at a time. And at the second fight, I was a little bit more methodical. I put everything together. And then then my last title fight, it was horrible. I didn't show out like I really wanted to. So I mean, you can take bits and pieces from each fight, but it's a learning process, and I love everything about it.
It's a learning process. When you put it together like you did with the 3-fight win streak, how much understanding is there, do you think, that was realized in having that success? Like, as you're having the success, how much are you realizing that you're now understanding the intricacies of this sport? Because MMA, boxing, a lot different from this one.
True. I mean, yeah, because like you said, it's definitely a lot different because with this you can grab, but at the same time, like what boxing is, you can grab, but at the same time you can't hold on for too long. But at the same time you can box, but at the same time you can't grab. It's really like one of those things that you gotta. I don't really know how to explain it, man. To be honest with you, it's one of those things. Like it's kind of like MMA and it's kind of like boxing, but it's its own thing. You just gotta find what works for you inside that ring. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really your own thing for real. I just something I found I was actually good at. You know what I'm saying?
In that uniqueness that the sport of bare knuckle presents, how unique then do you have to make the sparring environment? Because you can't exactly spar bare knuckle. You need to do it gloved for the hands, but the gloves also kind of inhibit a little bit of what you want to work on with the clinch. So how do you have to kind of hybrid the boxing sparring for bare knuckle?
Easy. I use MMA gloves, but I use the thicker side gloves. The MMA's, but they're real thick on the top, and we basically use those for basically just sparring. Basically, that's as close as we can get to no gloves, but with gloves at the same time. So I do a lot. Yeah,
the 6-ounce popcorn gloves.
Yes. So yeah, I do a lot of sparring in those to get as close to bare knuckle as I can without actually punching somebody in the face with no gloves on at all.
You tried the Long Beach experience and now you're back home in St. Louis. Is this something that you're going to be traveling back and forth? Do you feel you're going to just kind of keep camp here at home now? What are you doing?
I'm gonna definitely be doing a little bit of both. It's just I know for this guy that I'm fighting, Dan, coming home would definitely be a better option for me because with his endurance and he's always on that gas pedal from the fights I saw. It's been a lot of Shark Tanks here at home, like a lot of different bodies. Like every 3 minutes new person, 3 minutes new person. Somebody new. I hear me here. I know here in St. Louis I can go to different gyms and get looks like that with different people.
Just in the short term, we look at Dan and you can see his last 5 wins looking BKB, BYB, back to the old school name, everybody. 2 wins last year, comes from the UK. He comes from that tradition of bare knuckle, from the country where they kind of kept it going a bit longer than us. What have you seen in his game that sticks out to you that's different from what you've seen from these opponents you've already fought?
He's a real strong body puncher. Like he loves to go to the body. So I mean, I've been doing a lot of blocking to the body because I've seen a lot of his fights have been finishes by body shots. So yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest things we've been working on in this camp. And basically just like you said, stand on that gas pedal because he's definitely gonna try to push me to try to blow my energy out and then go for that body. So I'm definitely gonna be ready for those.
All right, you're aware of the body. What do you think is going to be crucial in not allowing him to get to that target, or what do you need to do to hurt him, you think?
Keep him on the outside, keep him guessing. I mean, I'm just as fast as he is, and I got just as big as cardio tank as he is. So, I mean, basically, my whole thing is to, like you said, do the same thing he gonna try to do to me, tire him out, but keep him on the outside. Use that height advantage to my advantage. So,
do you feel like a bare knuckle fighter now, a bare knuckle boxer, or do you still feel like the same fighter?
No, I definitely feel like a bare knuckle fighter. This is where I'm at. I don't really want to do anything else at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Like, where does the smile come from? Like we talk about, you're like, oh, you just get so excited about it. Where's that enthusiasm coming from?
I just like to fight. You know what I'm saying? I can't help it. I just like to punch people in the face. I mean, that's the joy that this brings me, to be able to punch people in the face, man.
You came to this sport looking for your opportunity, looking to show the masses the skills that you possess. What has it meant internally to be able to have this success, a championship belt, and prove a lot of the doubters that they were wrong?
It feels amazing, and it's even better when I can talk to my daughters about it. They love to see, well, Daddy, when's your next fight? And I can tell them, like, Daddy got a title fight coming up. So I love to be able, to see the smile on my family faces when they see I became a champion. You know what I'm saying? I came home, I came to the family, came to the gym. Everybody's excited to see the belt. They didn't even realize how heavy it was until I let them hold it. They was like, "Damn, this thing is huge. We didn't realize it was that heavy." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "I know." I was like, it's actually a chore to carry it around most of the time. So
what was the response like? You mentioned it now, the family, but the return home, the actually getting to take the belt back and showing up back there, what did that mean, going back to the gyms and the people that help you create this foundation, them seeing the reward?
Oh, they loved it, so they took pictures, they was making videos of it, so it was great. It was a good time.
All this good time, everything that's happening, how do you change the goals now? Because the goal was to get on this stage, to show what you had, to get a world title. How do you change the goals now and move those forward 2026?
The goals at this point is to, keep training and do what I can to retain my belt and, submit my legacy as the best welterweight at this weight class it is. Because don't get me wrong, I am 3-2, but you also got to realize that neither one of those two losses came at 147 either. So,
Javon,
yeah,
Wolfman Wright, we got you against Dan the Man Gittins, one of 4 title fights on the night, on the card. I'm not sure if you've been able to analyze the entire card yet, but you can't choose your fight. Other 3 title fights, which one are you most excited to watch?
If I had to be honest, I know for sure that the bias and Harold is definitely gonna be fireworks for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to Jamie's and Bianca's fight, but I think the bias and Harold fight gonna be a real good one for me.
You're probably right with that first one. The women are always coming to steal the show.
Right, that's true, and they definitely come to fight both of them. So it's a toss up between the two, but I want to see the guys go at it. I definitely want to see who's gonna win, who's gonna take that belt.
Does the excitement change? Does the feeling of going toe to toe in that trigon, those couple moments, has that changed now with the 5 fight of experience? You still feel the same rush, the same butterflies towing that line?
Oh yeah, every day, man. Like even when I'm warming up, getting ready for the fight, the stomach be flipping, hitting backflips and all that. But once the fight starts and I get in that cage, all that goes away, and then all that's left is just me in the fight.
I'm sure the people ask it all the time. What was the feeling the first time you got cracked with one of those bare knuckles?
I was like, okay, I see we in a fight. That's what I knew. I knew we was in a fight once I got hit.
And on the other side, what was the feeling like the first time you connected?
Pure ecstasy, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't help it, man. I love to feel that fist connect to somebody, and then you see the blood rush, and I'm like, all right, I love this. Let's keep it going.
Before I let you go, last thing, what part of this journey and what you come from are you most proud of?
Being able to put on a show for my family, coming from where we come from, St. Louis, poverty city, as bad as it is. And I'm not saying I completely made it out, but I made it out enough to where I can do what I want to do and make my money doing what I want to do and showing out for my family. Like I give them something, I give them a family member they can talk about, hear me when my stomach comes up and I come home and I can enjoy my family, you know what I'm saying? We have stuff to talk about, you know what I'm saying?
Miami, Florida, beautiful backdrop, BKB 50. Not too far away from your area. It's not right there in St. Louis, but at least it's just down the road. Beautiful backdrop. Everybody tune on in because it's Vice TV.
I wish I could drive, but it is what it is. I don't like flying, but
the champion's not used to the first class jet flying lifestyle yet.
Nah, not yet. Not yet. I like to keep my feet on the ground. I got a fear of flying, so I would love to keep my feet on the ground, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Not to mention, I'm sure it's a mission going through TSA with that title belt.
Yes, every day, every chance. People want to look at it, ask 1,000 questions. So I mean, it's all fun though. I don't mind,
Gotta thank you for the time tonight for joining my fight show.
All right, I appreciate it. And I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Cigar Hill Company. We'll be in there for that title, baby, January 31st. I love y'all. See y'all soon. Let's get it.
We'll talk to you again soon, sir.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate you. Wow, tonight is just flying by quick as all can be. We already had Javier Cepeda, Fury FC 114, January 30th, January 31st. Let me make sure I'm right. Yep, exactly. Miami, Florida, Vice TV. That's where you can watch the BKB 50 if you're not going to be there at the James L. Knight Center. And not to mention, again, big shout out to James Romero jumping in, his predictions, his picks. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to go back, watch this, log all those down. We are about 7 minutes away from Sergio Gutierrez joining the show. Sparta Fight Night 27, the Fit NHB flyweight in action again. We are going to be talking to him in just a minute, and I'm probably going to take 60 seconds just so I can catch my breath. Okay, that was just over a minute. My apologies, everybody. Deep breath back. Whew. Appreciate all the guests tonight. Cage Minds Fight Hour, very first episode coming this Saturday. ESPN Radio Albuquerque, 1017 The Team. You'll hear that from 9 to 10 in the morning. Of course, we are already in the works of how we will get that up on video, up on podcast, and we'll distribute that in a plethora of different ways for you guys to consume that media. But make sure you tune in to ESPN Radio Albuquerque, 1017 The Team for the very first episode. Give us that support. The gentleman, Jalen Fuller, will be my very first guest on that show. We're going to get a bit more into his psychology and theories ahead of UFC 324. Get his breakdown on the striking matchup between Gaethje and Pimblett. Huge conversation I know is going to go down this weekend. Couple minutes, 5 minutes, I believe, away from Sergio Gutierrez. We're going to get a couple minutes with him ahead of his next bout. And then to close up the show, we'll take you guys back in time to earlier today when I got to sit down with the TNA Heavyweight Champion, Mike Santana. Like the episode, share the episode, comment that it's done, and you'll be entered to win tickets to TNA live here, Tingley Coliseum in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Thursday night. That one's live on AMC. You can be there live in the building. Friday, we also got tapings, back-to-back, huge nights, the debut of TNA Impact Wrestling here. Appreciate Ross Foreman, Nick Nemeth, and Mara Sade for coming on second to last episode of Mike Adams 2.0, and then following up with me to film for last week's episode. You missed those? They're on YouTube, guys. We have everything up. Huge weekend of combat sports with the UFC. And of course, we mentioned already when I was talking to James that there is that local feel to the event. Ty Miller, if you have not seen him, if you have not made it down to Fight World, if you missed him when he was on the CFFC cards on UFC Fight Pass or the LFA cards, he is a long, lengthy striker coming out of Fit NHB, the 25-year-old. Stop me when you've heard this before. 6'2" welterweight from that camp, much in the same echelon as Tim Means, Carlos Condon, that same style. He looks like that same mold, looks like them, fight like them, has that nastiness, just like both of them. Big expectations, as you heard when I was talking with James, his upcoming fight against Adam Fuga. We believe that Fuga is going to be looking for the takedown against the Thriller, who has 2 wins by knockout, 4 by decision. He was racking up the knockouts, though, as an amateur fighter, striking pedigree, elite. What he learned under Arlene Sanchez Vaughn and how he has kept it up with Matt and under the tutelage of John Judy there at Fit NHB. Also on the UFC 324 card, talking about the local side. That's where the 7-0 heavyweight Josh Hokett resides, the former San Francisco 49er. Yes, the California native, but he does get his work in out here in the 505 at the Jackson Wink Academy. He's going to be taking on the former LFA heavyweight champion, a serviceman in his own right. Denzel Freeman also has a wrestling pedigree in his back pocket, but so far, we haven't seen that elite level thudding power, and there's been huge, almost disrespectful aggression, you nearly call it, that Hokett has positioned with putting his wrestling into full blast offensive effort. Not here wrestling just to hold a position or tire his opponent out, but wrestling to an assertive nastiness offensively. And that's why kind of see him as the favorite against a Freeman who was a little timid and a little more reserved in his debut. Hokett, almost to, like we said, a disrespectful manner, wants to make an impression and wants to make it quick in this heavyweight division. So you have 2 bright prospects from the New Mexico area on display here for the UFC 324 card. Coming up in just a moment, we got Sergio Gutierrez gonna be available. Fit NHB, brother of Hondo Gutierrez. We had Hondo on before. Hondo gonna be back in action here 2 weekends away. CFFC, that's on February 8th, up at the 2300 Arena in Pennsylvania. Sergio, for being the younger brother, just kind of got the reputation, guys, as he's the meaner one. We're just like a nastiness, where Hondo has this already a 14-second knockout in his last fight and assertiveness to him. Sergio is just almost nasty and mean, violent striker. And that's the perfect way to describe him as we bring him in right. Are you able to hear me, Serge?
Yeah, I'm able to hear now.
Oh, cool. There you are. How you doing?
Good in yourself?
I'm doing well. I was just telling our audience about, well, you and your brother are both killers. We might consider you to be the meaner one.
Yeah, for sure.
You both have grown up in this martial arts system around Fit and HB, but how do you get the distinction of being the meaner one? Like, explain that to everyone.
I don't know. It's just something about always the little brother. I guess I'm just the meanest. Brother's known for being more calm, more collective. I don't know. I just like being, I guess, more vicious and ferocious. But I just think it comes down to my brother's smarter than me a little bit more. But
There's like almost this sadistic smile to you when you step into the sparring room. I've seen it before.
yeah, I always tell my dad, no mercy on anybody who's trying to hit me, and I'm trying to hit them. So no mercy.
Was that a philosophy that someone instilled in you, or is that your philosophy?
I don't know. No one's ever tried to toughen me up or anything. It's just that way when I growing up that way, I guess.
Do you remember the first time you had those thoughts?
Probably, I think the first time I've ever fought was about when I was 7 years old. So I'd say about then.
Did you saw your dad in the gym, your brother in the gym, that you wanted to jump into it, or were you already involved in it before you realized how much you loved it?
So I remember when we first went to Fit, I was about 4 years old, and I was too young to join practice. And I remember that whole year, I just had to sit there and watch my brother practice. And I remember I begged and I begged and I begged to let me practice. And then the day finally came where they said I could do practice, and then I hopped in at the age of 5.
Doing this since 5 years old. Instantly just in love?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say pretty much. I mean, I've always loved the fighters like Chuck Liddell, growing up watching them, Anderson Silva. We've always watched UFC fights. Just Dad put us in there so that way if we needed to defend ourselves, we knew how to defend ourselves. And I don't know, we fell in love with it after all.
When did you first say, I'm going to be a pro fighter? I'm going to make this my dream. We know you're still chugging away at the amateurs, but when did you first establish this goal for yourself?
I'd say probably when about, I'd say 7th, 8th grade, I, matured a little bit, and I really buckled down, and I was like, this is something I would want to do for a living, and it's just an honor to do it, to be honest.
You grew up in a gym that Ray Borg, Tim Means, Brenda Means, Nico Montano, Amber Brown, you saw fighters, King of the Cage titles, LFA, Legacy, UFC, Invicta. What does that do for a young man like you to see that what you're striving for is truly possible?
It just, I feel like it helps people I wouldn't say people like me, but anybody that's like that just has a goal set. It just helps me stay out of trouble, helps me stay motivated. Speaking on it, my boy Ty Miller making his UFC debut this weekend. That just motivates me even more because it's someone that I've trained with, worked out with every day, seen him grow, seen the path he's taken, and it just inspires me just to work harder, train harder, just to make it where he's at now.
Who would you say then, out of all these illustrious names, did you have a first role model or a first one that you idolized out of these people that you actually, got to be around and work with?
I would say either Tim, Tim, real ferocious, real mean. You know, Ray's always been by my side, stuck by my side since I've been little. Hung out with him, cleaned his yards. Yeah, I'd say Ray and probably Timmy.
Ray and Tim, and they were both also, I believe, both at one point were running the Fit Kids program. So you got to have a lot of personal coaching even from them.
Yeah, Ray mostly. Timmy did Fit Teens. I was in there for a while before they ended that program. But yeah, Fit Kids with Ray was the best. You know, taught me everything that I pretty much know, basics from the ground up, especially the ground game. You know, so yeah.
Does it feel like fighting is something that you guys do, or does fighting really feel like it runs in the family now?
I'd say it runs in the family, definitely. You know, we got tough people in my family, you know, all around my mom and dad's side. You know, I think it runs through the blood. With me and my brother, just kind of the first ones to try to do it as a career in life.
With the amount of time that you've been in the gym since 5 years old, at what point did you truly start cultivating the concept of what you wanted your style to look like? Because where your hands hang and that snappy jab that you have going to the body shots, that's something we've been seeing coming together for a few years now.
Fighters really dance.
Appears we're having a couple
I'd say
signal
I
issues. Oh,
like a
there he
mix
is.
of like Sean O'Malley and Nate Diaz.
A mix of Sean O'Malley and Nate Diaz. That's the goal. That's what you want your style to look like.
Yeah, I feel like I act, walk, and talk like Nate Diaz, and I like to be a fancy and showman like Sean O'Malley when I'm in the cage.
And those last, what, 4 in the cage and 3 title fights, did you ever establish the goal of wanting to collect these amateur title belts that you've been able to do, or have the opportunities just presented themselves? So why not fill up the mantle?
I've always known that it would come across my path, and I'd have the opportunity to see other people fight before me, my brother, me, and all them. Uh, but kind of like you said, just an opportunity came up, and I'm willing to take it. So got 3 bouts now. I'm gonna fight for my 4th one now.
And talking about that, another title belt, Sparta Combat League, another promotion that you've been quite frequently active with, heading up to Colorado. What do you feel is paramount for you to bring back a 4th title?
This one means a little more to me because they already fought for my belt. So this guy pretty much, I would say, took my belt without fighting me. So I'm ready to beat his ass and bring it back home to the 505.
Is there something that stands out about Luis's game so far? He has 3 MMA wins of his own right. Is there anything that you've seen out of him that really stands out?
Too much. I know he's from a pretty good gym out there in Denver. I know Corey Sanhagen and all them train out there, but seems like another typical guy that says he has some decent stand up. I could see him trying to stand, like all the guys. They're gonna duck and shoot. I'm just ready for the defend the takedown and do what I have to do to get the dub.
You said he's the typical guy. Why are you not the typical guy? Did you hear me on that one?
No.
I said you called him typical. What is not typical? What makes your game extraordinary?
Uh, I wouldn't say I'm very, I'm pretty basic, stick to the 1-2, 1-3, nothing flashy. This fight, turn pro, so I'm gonna go out there and try to do some cool shit, throw some cool shit, just have fun, just blasting and let go.
With the experience that you've had, with how long you've been in the gym, how do you maintain the composure and let things play out while still going through this amateur run? Well, I'm sure there's people wondering when you're going to turn pro, and I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to it. How do you stay composed and let things play out in the nature and time that they should?
Oh, just let it flow. Pretty much. Whatever comes up, comes up. But nothing has came up. So just to keep active, I'm gonna do the last amateur just to get it out there. Have a fought in a while. Uh, get it flowing and just do my thing. There's nothing really to it. Done it since I've been in a little. Let it fly.
We thank you for the time tonight, Sergio. Thank you for joining my fight show.
Of course. Have a good one.
Cool. We'll talk to you soon, sir. Appreciate Sergio taking some time to join us tonight. Unfortunately, it seems like his cell phone signal going a little bit out of whack there. Was hoping we could have heard him a little bit better. Was going in and out there, but I think we all took away the valuable points. He hasn't fought since August. He wants to get another one in so he can feel good, get that groove of momentum going back, and looks to recapture the Spartan title, one that apparently was up for grabs without his knowledge. And we'll see if a fourth championship belt can be around the waist of Sergio Gutierrez as he plans for it to be the last amateur outing. That's the other massive takeaway. Sergio Gutierrez, the amateur champion for Sparta, for CFFC, who's wanted to have the ability to fight for the fight world title. It just hasn't come together. He's looking to put an end towards the amateurs and join his brother and Ty Miller and our guest earlier, James Romero, in the pro ranks. Excited to see what this nasty little boxer can do, who, when I say that, let's not forget last win, he came by Peruvian necktie, trying to get fancy on all of us with the submission game. That's what Sergio Gutierrez has been bringing. I promised it. It's now that point in the evening. We are going to time travel. Yeah, we're going to go back in time to earlier today. Had an incredible opportunity. Got to talk with the TNA Heavyweight Champion, Mike Santana, this Thursday night. AMC, be at Tingley Coliseum, tapings Friday night. Let's take you guys to that wonderful interview. My Fight Show on location for the first time. It's a special interview. The champ is here. Look, the title, everything, all beautiful. Thursday night, live on AMC, or join us at Tingley Coliseum, the debut of a brand that I've been a fan of for over 20 years. TNA Impact Wrestling, finally in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We got to see the tag team specialist version. Now we've seen elevated into the championship version of Mike Santana. The opportunity to get to talk to you is a pleasure. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. It feels good to finally be here in Albuquerque, like you said, and it's been quite the week, to say the least, right? We just had our debut on AMC, and then a couple days later we had our one of our premier pay-per-views in Genesis, and it's been a whirlwind of a week, but here we are and ready to go, and we're excited, man. So I'm feeling good.
A whirlwind. Does that compare to the situation for you at all? That world champion 2 times already is what we read next to the Wikipedia. How quickly everything it feels like has changed, or
Mm-hmm.
has it felt like it's been a long time coming for you?
Honestly, man, things in pro wrestling seem to move really fast. As you know, things could change in the blink of an eye. But for me in my journey, I think it's been a long time coming for sure. You know, like you said, I had established myself as a tag team for 10 years and, you know, had a lot of major success and did a lot of great things, which I'm very proud of. And then finally I got to a point where it was like, I was like, all right, what's next? What's the next test and the next obstacle that I want to learn from? And thankfully, you know, I was able to do what I got to do, and I took that bet on myself. And here I am, man, just putting in the work, continuing to show why I'm in the position that I'm in. And, you know, we're just getting started, I feel like.
If you take us back a couple of years, that betting on yourself,
Yeah.
what was it like in the tandem, you and Ortiz coming into a place in TNA and representing a brand like LAX, something that had already been established, was in the wrestling culture, in the Latin culture, what that tag team had meant, and then you guys coming in and being that new version?
It was a huge deal. I mean, one of our mentors was Homicide, right? Coming out of the New York City scene, he was someone that I've known since I was a young child. He's seen my entire career. You know, he was always a mentor for me. So getting to be in a position where I was going to fill his shoes was a huge deal. And also being under the learning tree of Conan, right? Who was one of the biggest legends in professional wrestling, in lucha libre, such a influential figure. And the fact that we were coming in and getting to sit under that learning tree, what better thing could we have asked for, right? Like, we were coming into a major platform for the first time, and we have someone who has such a wealth of knowledge. If we didn't succeed, it was going to be on us, because all the tools were laid out for us, and it was up to us to put them to work. And thankfully we did, and it's gotten us here, and it's gotten me here, and I'm thankful, man.
I'm not going to drag Ross Foreman into this interview like I did last time he was around. He's running around in the background. He'll know the foundation of TNA. Tag team wrestling was so important to that brand. I told him he got a kick out of it. First interaction I have with the brand is seeing Rock and Rave Infection versus the Voodoo Kin Mafia.
Yeah,
We go
yeah.
up to Team 3D, Beer Money, Motor City Machine Guns, and then the version that you and Ortiz put together of LAX, I feel deserves right in that notoriety with those tag teams. What does it mean that you guys were able to accomplish kind of that legendary notoriety?
It's awesome, man. Like, again, we put in the work and we got the results, right? And I think the fact that we were able to fill those shoes, which weren't easy shoes to fill, right? Like the original LAX, they were so established and such a popular team. And the fact that we came in, and again, we have one mouth and two eyes and two ears for a reason, right? So our thing was just observe and use those tools. And thankfully it allowed us to establish ourselves. And again, like, and still to this day, I use those tools to my advantage, right? It's because of those experiences that have gotten me to the world title and here today. So I'm thankful.
Is there any bit of luck or fortunateness to it where you end up in some of those positions that you've been in, where you said Conan, Homicide, there are so many valuable veterans that you've been able to learn from, and some that we probably don't even know about? Does it almost feel lucky to end up in some of those predicaments?
I would say, of course, there always has to be a little bit of luck and success, right? Timing is everything, but I'm also a firm believer in everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, right? And if you keep your nose to the ground and you keep putting in the work, then you get the results. And I think that's been a story of my life and my success to this day. You know, I know that I've never been one to yap or brag or be loud about anything. I let my work do the talking, and it's gotten me to this point, so why change it, right?
What was the thought process like of saying, okay, it's time to separate from the tag team business and now start concentrating on myself as an individual? Not just that, but how do you expand on who Mike Santana is? Because there's a version that we knew, but that was in the form of a tag team. So how do you start thinking about how you wanted to be presented as that individual?
I think a lot of it came from wanting more in my career. During that time, I felt like things got a little bit stagnant, and I just felt like, listen, I always have this mindset of like, I didn't get this far to just get this far. I always know, my dad used to always tell me that the top of one mountain is the bottom of another, and I'm a firm believer of like, there's always something next. There's always something to keep chasing, and I felt like at that time, it was just time. Like that's how I felt. I felt it in my gut, in my heart, and I had spoken to a lot of people who had mentored me and things like that. And also, I just thought like I was dealing with a lot of things at that time in my personal life. So stepping away, dealing with those things, coming back fresh was all needed, right? And I think the way I wanted to present myself was just as me. I've always said that one of my favorite wrestlers growing up was Bret the Hitman Hart. His authenticity was what drew me in, right? And I always said that that's how I want to be. I want to be someone that anybody from any walk of life could connect to because they see a little bit of themselves in me, right? And the fact that they could connect with me and my story and what I've been through, and it's all real life things, right? I don't hold anything back. I've always been very open about my struggles and things that I've experienced, and it all plays a part in getting me here.
And that's something very delicate that here in TNA, you guys were able to portray in a way that's been hard in other places. We'll all remember back to the Road Warriors with Hawk, what was the Hardys with Jeff, and how there's been some semblance of the substance abuse problems coming up. I don't think, though, they've been as satisfyingly portrayed and where the story led to as the delicate way you guys were able to handle it. How much conversation and how many different directions and what was the effort put in to get the story laid out as it was?
For me, I didn't want it to, of course, like there's always, I feel like a stigma of like shame and I feel like the way, if I was going to do it, because it was brought to my attention, and at first I really wasn't about it. I was like, I'll stay away from it for
Personal,
now.
right?
Yeah. But then I was like, this could be I looked at it as a way to try and help someone else, right? If we could tell this story in a way that at the end of it, it's going to someone who has been in my shoes, who is dealing with the same issues, if they could look at this and be like, oh, if he was able to come out clean on the other side of it, then so can I. And that's how we wanted to put that story together. Also, like, I wanted it to be a source of my superpower instead of a source of my weakness, right? Like, when I was doing the thing with Ali, he kept trying to put it in a way of, oh, he's going to slip up and he's going to lose everything and he's going to do this. And it's like, no, man, I used all those struggles and all that dark time as my superpower to get me here. So if anything, I switched the mindset of it a bit, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, like that was my ultimate goal with it, was showing at the end of it that like anything is possible.
We definitely shown that. And then the story was beautifully laid out, even to the points where we bring in your daughter and she's an inspirational factor. And like you said, I think the authenticness of it and the fact that people watching at home could connect with the story is part of what's made you so over with the audience.
Yeah, for sure. Again, authenticity is key, and that's what people connect to the most, right? Me personally, I was never into... I'm a poor Puerto Rican kid from the projects, bro. I couldn't connect to Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior, or like I was never into comics. I didn't watch a lot of cartoons and stuff. So when I saw Bret Hart and he was talking about being the best, and he was talking about where he came from, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. He was talking about his family, talking about being in the dungeon, all these things, right? I was like, oh man, like, okay, that's real life stuff, right? And that's what I connected to the most. So I was like, I think that's what I want to put out.
And much like him, taking the tag team path now, separated yourself,
Exactly.
established yourself as
Exactly.
a world champion. What does it mean to you? Carry the banner, have the flag, be in this position, not just holding this belt, but being at the upper echelon of this company.
It's a huge deal to me. It's something that I take very serious. I take my job serious in general, right? I've dedicated my entire life to this. Like, I made 17 years this year in November. Well, in November of 2025, 17 years, half my life, literally. And like, I didn't put in all this work and all this time and make all these sacrifices to not be at the top. You know what I mean? Like, I always say, if you're not striving to be the very best and put everything in, then what are you doing it for, right? Like, and I think that's what separates top guys from everybody else, right? But it does mean a great deal to me, especially because TNA was the first major company that gave me an opportunity when I was nobody, you know. And the fact that I got to come back as someone and still establish myself as an even bigger star and be in this position and represent the company in the locker room is a huge deal. And I look forward to continuing to do that. I think I'm just getting started.
What do you see for the future? Now you guys are on AMC.
Yeah.
What does this signify?
I think bigger and better things are to come. You know what I mean? Better stories, more eyes on the product, more accessibility. And man, just in 2025 alone, we've had so much growth. As you see, we've been moving to bigger arenas, packing more houses, and I look forward to continuing that and continuing also like with the partnership with WWE and having all those special things happen. I think the best times of pro wrestling for me as a fan was when things were very unpredictable, right? When you didn't know who was going to show up where, and I think we bring a little bit of that. So I look forward to continuing that.
Does there feel like there's more pressure now that you're the champion, or has there always been pressure because you've always been an underdog this whole time?
I think for me personally, I feel like if there isn't pressure, then I make pressure. Like I thrive in that. Like I've learned about myself that when there's pressure, I do the very best that I could. You know what I mean? And I like that feeling of like all eyes on me, and the feeling of like, man, if things don't work, is it not going to be like, I don't know. There's just something about it. Like a lot of people are anxious about it. A lot of people stay away from it. I welcome it. And I think I live in that and I create that. And I feel like I was listening to David Goggins speak recently, and he said when he feels like he's at the very top, he'll knock himself back down a little bit, because it's the climb and it's that grind that makes everything that much more special. So, yeah.
Thinking about back to the Impact roots, also AJ Styles is around
Yep,
now.
yep.
And I remember when I was first watching, he was kind of just Tom Coe's tag team partner, and he matured into the roots of what we see him as now. Do you feel like you've hit that point where we're seeing you start to culminate what that ultimate version of what you have envisioned for Mike Santana is going to be?
100%, 100%. I feel like I'm just entering that right now. And again, I'm only 34 years old. I'm still very young, and I still got a lot left to go. And I think, but like going back to that, I'm just entering that phase of myself now. And I think the best is yet to come. And I feel like I'm going to get even better.
Thursday nights, AMC, we get to watch Mike Santana progress through that phase, defend this title, and we get to do that here live in Albuquerque on Thursday night. Friday night, you guys can be there to see the tapings. Great to see you guys debuting here. It's been a long time coming.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
My pleasure to have Mike Santana on My Fight Show. And there was an interview that I was more than ecstatic to get the opportunity to do Thursday night and Friday night. You can find me at Tingley Coliseum. Definitely have to be there and be able to watch the debut of TNA Impact Wrestling in the Duke City. I've said it too many times in the last couple of weeks. Been a fan of the product for over 20 years. Cage Minds Fight Hour debuts Saturday morning, ESPN Radio Albuquerque, 1017 The Team. Jalen Fuller is going to join me. We're going to take an in-depth journey with him, get into his March 22nd title defense, putting the APFC welterweight title on the line. Saturday night, the Borgs and Robbie Ray will be joining me here in studio for a watch along for UFC 324. Shout out to James Romero this week with his picks. He's going with Gaethje. He's going with O'Malley. We'll see what he thinks next week as the UFC's heading to Australia, and we'll see how those picks ended up working out for James. We have a whole bunch in store for next week. I guess I'll let you guys in on the news that the first Tuesday of February, I'm going on vacation. Been a long time since I've been on vacation, going on vacation. So that means next week, we're not just going to be talking UFC 324, 325. We also got to talk Knuckle Mania. There's going to be a whole lot to talk about next week. Whole ton plan for my fight show. We got a bunch of feature interviews before I go out of town going up on the website. So much going on. Got to thank Robbie Ray Media for all the help with the video footage for the Mike Santana interviews, for the interviews you guys are going to be seeing coming out this week. Barber Gabe's Fades. Get on over there or book at barbergabesfades.net. Appreciate them for all the support. There are big things coming even from my fight show. This is just the beginning. Talk ABQ saying it's going to be a big year for all of us properties. Can't wait to fill you guys in on more breaking news next week. Before we get out of here, talking about breaking news, we got to keep it local for a second. Remember, Abraham Pettis' next fight has already been announced. One of our brightest pugilistic prospects here in New Mexico, Embassy Suites, April 4th. Esnith Domingo gonna be the opponent from the Philippines. Josh Pitbull Torres and Christian Cabral, both expected to be on that card. And talking about news on local New Mexico boxers, Jose Luis Sanchez back in the ring. News on that coming. We're going to be sharing it. So a whole lot going on live and local and all around the combat sports world. You keep up with it. CageMinds.com, Cage Minds Fight Hour. MMA After Hours is up. Tomorrow you'll have Pro Wrestling After Hours. And this has been my fight show. Truly, again, one more time, a shout out and a thank you to Javier Cepeda, James Romero, Mike Santana, Sergio Gutierrez, and the BKB welterweight champion, Javon Wright, also in action January 30th. Most of these guys that we were talking to, a huge weekend of fights, the 30th, the 31st, the 23rd, the debut of Zuffa Boxing on Paramount, and we get the UFC back first time this year, this weekend. So much going on, and I'm glad that you guys would tune in for me to hear me talk about it. You guys have a great night. Thanks for watching.